Hey everyone. Now, as I mentioned in the last couple of videos, I've been working on this 3D spectrum analyzer here based on the RTL SDR dongle and also the Hack RF. So I've made a bit of progress, but I've hit a bit of a stumbling block. I'm having trouble just with the GUI to integrate the 3D graphics the way I want to, because I'm not a Python expert. So I'm sure I'm missing something simple, but I'm hoping someone out there can help me. For now, I'll just show you how I started and the progress I've made in about the last month. Right, so here's what I started with. Just making a simple sine wave and plotting it to a 2D display. That was the start of this whole venture. The next step was to add another sine wave to it to give me a complex wave that contains more than just a sine wave. So this is what I ended up with there. And following on from that, I did the FFT on that complex wave to get the frequency components that were in it. So that wave had a 3 and 7 hertz component in it. Still in 2D, just very simple here. Okay, so next came my first dealings with the actual RTL adapter. And basically it works by just grabbing a bunch of samples from it. So you end up with what I had in that time domain, just a wave essentially, and then ran the FFT over that. And then I get these frequency components, which the numbers down here were a bit meaningless, but it was the start of doing FFT on RTL samples. Okay, and from there, I went into the 3D world and I managed to get that on a 3D line here. But as you can see, it's updating, but it's not really clearing the old trace. So it looks pretty much like a peak hold trace here. But it is 3D now, based on some 3D templates that I found and some tools to make this kind of thing. So that's the same FM spectrum being shown on 3D, but it's still not really fantastic. Now, I initially had in mind something like a surface plot here. Nothing like this is not what I had in mind, but I tried to get a surface display, but it just didn't work out, so I decided against that, but this is what I briefly had for a moment there. Another method I had was this scatter plot, where it's basically points instead of a line. This doesn't animate, but it didn't look really clear. It wasn't that easy to see, so I gave up on that one as well. Then I found this example. Well, I found this before I made that first 3D line attempt, because I had the grids and all that. And I saw this. This is just some function that someone did to animate, just to show some 3D graphics. And you can see it just goes through all the colors, but it just does its own little routine there. So this is kind of what I really started with when I started playing with 3D. So based on that, I came up with this. As you can see, it's the same sort of line setup, but it's not moving. It's just one sweep of the RF samples. But what you can see here is the same 5 radio stations. You can see quite clearly the fact that that's FM. You can see the modulation sort of frequency waving along as it goes along. You wouldn't see that when it's moving, but when you break it right down and freeze it, you can see that. But of course, I want this to move, not just be static like that. And I also want the colors to be for the height, not just the whole line. Okay, so now I've got it moving, except it's not moving how I wanted. What I wanted was one line moving on to the next and the next and the next, so you have the current line up the front and they all follow on from that. But what this is actually doing, it's doing all the samples and calculations, then printing them all up as one. So it doesn't flow smoothly. So it's a bit of a mess, and the colors still aren't right, but I had some movement there. Okay, so following on from that, I got that correct movement that I was after, where you can see here, this line moves to that one, moves to that one. I don't know if it's too clear on here. You should be able to see it. It's flowing that way rather than just painting them all up at once. And the reason I've only got a few lines going on here is because I didn't know how to do it exactly yet, so that wasn't actually in a loop. That was just the code repeated until I figured out what I had to loop, and then I made a loop for the whole lot. And here it is. After I set up a loop, I just had the free-flowing lines here, and you can see clearly they flow on from one another. This is a lot clearer on my screen, by the way, than what this capture is probably going to show it as. But this is what I had on the intro of my last video, just to show you how I was going. That's what I was up to at that time. So here I was playing around trying to get the colors to change for the intensity. And the first line here is the live one. That's why I had that a different entity of its own there. But it's still not right. It's strobing and flashing. It's not at all what it's supposed to be. But I was still trying to figure out the colors, which took a little bit of a while actually. So anyway, after a while, I figured that out. So you can see here I've got the colors changing per intensity. And I haven't finished exactly what that's going to be, but I at least know now how to assign colors for the height here. And in case you're wondering why the noise floor is basically flat, it's because this is still linear. I haven't done anything logarithmically yet. But linear does have an advantage of being able to spot things out of the noise So it'll have both anyway, linear and log, by the time I'm finished with this thing. So that's that. Now after that, I was playing with the hack RF rather than just the RTL, so you can see the big DC spike in the middle. And what you can see here is that's Bluetooth there, and this is Wi-Fi there. And I just wanted to show that you can do this stuff with the hack RF as well. So eventually, big Wi-Fi frame there. Eventually, I want to be selectable between hack RF and RTL SDR. But you can see that here, and you know, it's kind of cool. You can get right down here and have a look at it. Coming towards you there. There's no one coming at you. It's kind of cool. But anyway, that's that. So following on from there, I just started mucking around a little bit here and put some grid lines on. I took the other grid lines off because they were 20 by 20, and on a real spectrum analyzer, you usually have it just divided into 10. So these would have stuff written on them, but I was just playing around with the 3D graphics, having these as an extra object. So that's what this is. Just playing around with the colors again, just sort of figuring stuff out. Oh, and I made the front line a little bit thicker, so it kind of stands out a little bit, the front line here. Now here I was starting to play with a GUI, even though it doesn't do anything really yet. But one thing I did was put another object on here, just a little sphere for the peak value, even though nothing's worked out in this initial one. But here I've got whatever the maximum is, that peak follows it, kind of thing. And then I'd have a readout coming up here. And these main buttons up here, frequency, span, and amplitude, they're what you have on a real spectrum analyzer. So they're definitely going to be on my spectrum analyzer too. Okay, so after a bit of mucking around, I just playing with the buttons again. Had a frequency up and down, just changes it by 1 meg, and that's pretty much all it does. I can pause it now and you know, zoom right in and have a look at something. That's a bit of a mess, too many lines there, but you get the idea, and run that. Now after I tweaked around with that a bit, I managed to get this sort of thing here, where I can hold that there, run that there, do a peak search, and now I get the frequency of what they are, up and down by a bit. So essentially when you press frequency, you'll get the normal sort of things that you'd have, or span. These soft buttons here will change depending on what you've pressed. And again, if you get lost and you don't know where you are, the good old green preset button takes you back to a known state. So I thought I was kicking goals here and really making good progress by the time I got to here, except this GUI needed some serious work because it's not really fantastic to look at. I ended up finding a program, because I figured there must be one, called Qt Creator. So it lets you just drag stuff over here to set up the GUI how you want. So I made one here that looks a bit better, and I had done all the previous one manually, but here it is, you know, tool to make it for you. And this is what I ended up with. And for those of you who've used a real spectrum analyzer, you might realize that looks a lot like this one. Now, those who've used a real spectrum analyzer have probably used one of these in the past. Like every spec an, it has the frequency, span, and amplitude buttons. They're the main ones. So tune, zoom, and boom, if you like. And the soft keys here that change their functions depending on where you are in the system. So that's what I've generally copied it off, even though a lot of this stuff will change, but a lot of it will stay the same because I want my program to be used like a proper tool to do measurements and things with. And here's mine. Now, one thing I managed to do after a while, which had me stumped, was when you resize it, it resizes what will be the window for the display here, but it keeps all these buttons the same. So if you maximize it, the buttons are still the same. They don't do anything yet, but the window will change here, and I'll no doubt have a maximum screen view of the 3D window as well. But when you change size, the buttons all stay the same. So that's what I wanted there. Now, because I'm doing this in Python, there'll be a Windows and Mac version 2 which should work. So this is how the GUI looks on Windows, which is pretty similar, but the Linux one looks better. The keypad looks better, but basically it's the same thing. Now that brings me to the problem that I'm having. Here, when I try and do this, my 3D window pops up separately to where I wanted it in here. This is the same application running, but essentially, obviously, I want that as part of that window there. So that'll be all the display and the buttons will be over here. But I'm having trouble because the way I did this is not the way that this GUI is made. And this is where I need some help. So in my code, I load that panel, what I call the panel, as a class here using this UIC load. Well, you can export that as all Python, but either way, it loads it from there, and I get the variable for that window, which is specan.display3D. Because back on Qt Designer here, that object is a QOpenGL widget. And that's the only real thing I've got down here to choose from, is a QOpenGL widget. OpenGL widget there, which is what I put in there, along with the rest of it. So back here, that's what it is. But I couldn't get that to work because it's, what are they called, methods? They're all different inside that, so I struggled with that. So what I ended up doing was making Specan Display 3D a GL widget, which is what I had been doing before. So if I look at the console output of that when I ran that, you can see here I'm printing the type for what it was, and then I'm printing the type of it after I defined it as a GLView widget. And you can see that before it was a PyQt QOpenGL widget, which is what was made in that Qt Designer. But I couldn't get stuff to work in that from a 3D perspective. So I redefined it as one of these, and that's how I got it to work. But what I really want to do is put that where this is in here. Now I'm thinking I may be able to change it once I export this GUI as Python, then modify that to be one of those GLView widgets. But I'm hearing that that method's going to be discontinued in the future. So apparently this is what to use. But I can't find any good examples of how to make that happen, so I'm a bit stuck. So that's why two windows comes up. Down the bottom here, there's my main panel in one window, and this visualizer is the other thing. So that's kind of where I'm stuck. Now I finally managed to get this. That's all within the one window, and that's the proper OpenGLView widget there, but it doesn't do anything. That's not what I want there. Now in the code for that, it has all this stuff that I didn't have to do before. All this GL stuff here I didn't do, so I would have to start again if I had to figure all this out. And I don't particularly plan on doing that. And I'm not quite sure that I should have to, because from the PyQt site, there's all these demos of how to do these things, and a lot of it was automated, like moving the display, rotating it with the mouse. So I don't know that I'd have to start again, but I don't know how to mix the two together. So if someone can explain that to me, that would be greatly appreciated. So this is the site that has all this 3D stuff for scientific type things, which is seemingly new and up to date. So I should be able to still use these. If I show you some of the demos they've got. So here's the examples that it comes with when you install it. And one of the examples is that, where is it? This 3D line plot. So you can see that's very similar to what that guy made that just animated that. And it has all sorts of other stuff here, like your scatter plots, and it can do all these fancy things, which is why I got onto it. But I can't figure out quite how to put that into that GUI that's generated by Qt Creator. I also want to show you this program called QSpectrum Analyzer, which is also Python based. This lets you do sweeping across a wide range of frequencies really fast, as opposed to just tuning them all in manually. So if I just do the Wi-Fi 2.4 gig here and start that, you'll see some crap there, some Wi-Fi there, some Bluetooth there. And if I turn on these Bluetooth headphones that I've got here, I've just turned them on, you'll see a lot more Bluetooth spikes just came up then. So that's more realistic than what I'd want in a Spectrum Analyzer tool. So that's where I'm going with this. And you can do like the 5 gig as well. I don't have much up there at the moment, but you get the idea. And now I've just connected it to the antenna on the roof, going from 85 meg to 250 meg, and you can see it's pretty much real time. So what you can see here is all the FM radio stations down here, the digital radio stations here, the aircraft band here, and whatever you want to look at really. So that's what I'm going to try and implement on my my own Spectrum Analyzer, but I need to get that GUI working first. All right, so now you've got an idea of what I'm doing here. I want to make a full-on RF tool, not just for Wi-Fi, but just for anything to do with RF, since we have the Hack RF and RTL dongles. But of course, I will make sure it works for Wi-Fi too, because that's what I do. I just want something that's usable and, well, cheap. I mean, a Hack RF isn't that dear, and the software will be open source when I finish it, because there's too many crap overpriced devices that don't really do what I want them to do. So I'm going to make it myself, because that's what you got to do. But when it's done, it'll be available on Linux, Windows, and MacBook, assuming they work. The Linux one definitely. But if someone can give me a hand with that Python stuff that I'm struggling with, just email me. I'll put the email address up. It's cwne88@tutornoda.com, and I'll organise a remote session. You can just help me out because it's probably something simple. So far, I've had many stumbling blocks to get to where I am that seemed impossible, and it's like, oh, it's just that. So just keep in mind, I'm not a Python expert or a graphics expert. I'm just trying to piece together a tool that I want here. So if you can help me, please get in touch and we'll work through it, and hopefully I'll be able to get this thing out there to the masses. But until next time, take it easy.